Hello, everybody. Welcome to Make It Monday with Amy and Jim.
Hello.
Yay. Today is all about threads.
Yep.
So, we're going to chat about different threads today, the weights of thread, quality of thread,
hmm
and how we can't sew anything without thread.
Yeah.
Can't do anything without thread. And there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Speaking of ugly, Lord have mercy, that hair today. I didn't do anything with it. I just walked out. I totally forgot to finish drying my hair.
Oh well.
Whatever. It is
But
what it is
you
today.
made it. You're here.
I'm here and I'm
Yeah.
feeling better. So we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
You look better too.
Thank you. I do feel better.
Yeah. Good.
I feel better. So, all right, James, let's talk about thread.
Yeah, because actually, after our last surgery box, and this lady's coming in the store, they're like, "Okay, I want to use this thread. Is this okay? Whatever."
Right.
And I think what's really kind of funny because I've seen this happen before, and I think I might have even when I first started sewing. Like you spend thousands of dollars for that new machine, especially like a serger, and then you go and buy this cones when they're on sale for $1 because you're looking at a cone of thread, and they may be what, $7.99.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
get a good ones. Yeah.
yeah, depending on to get the good brand. So if you're thinking if you get 8 of them, you're spending $32 on just 4 spools of one color.
Right.
And a lot of us think like it's better off just to wait when they go on sale and get like $1 a spool for
Right.
the
And we see that especially in embroidery machines.
yeah.
And I really don't call out thread brands, but this one I'm gonna. When you go to Amazon and you order that bothered thread, it looks like it says brother thread, but it's BORTHER, whatever.
Yeah.
It's junk. It's miserable. You'll hate yourself. You'll hate me. You'll tell me the machine's bad. You'll tell me that,
So if you're shopping for the
it's the work.
thread,
Yeah. Don't do that to yourself or me.
or let's say if you think like, oh, I got to get it, buy one, okay,
Yeah.
and then when you get it home, or maybe when the clerk's not looking, and I didn't say that. Take the thread off the cone and look at it. And a lot of our new machines have those magnifier glasses that
Yeah.
come with it. Look at it under the magnifier glass. If you see a straight line of thread, that means they use long staple fibers. That's what we want to use.
Right. Exactly.
If it's slubby, where it goes thick and thin and thick and thin and thick and thin, it goes in the garbage. And the reason for that is you're going to end up having to have your machine repaired and serviced because that thick and thin and thick and thin will act like a saw and it will cut grooves in your tension discs.
Right. It's we see more repair problems over thread than because of mechanical failure.
Yeah.
Usually because the needle hasn't been changed since the day they bought it, or the thread is just plain old.
And I will bet
Bad.
that's not covered by your warranty.
It's not covered by your warranty. So
And she would know.
yeah, so Miss Joanne says thread's an important thing in our sewing recipe.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's show them what's the good, the bad, and the ugly, James.
Okay. So we got
Oh, that's a nugget. Oh, look at the nugget. I'm showing that in a minute.
That was a mean teaser.
That was a mean teaser. Something awesome.
Well, I just kind of went through what we had in our bins and just grabbed a couple different ones. And this one, I don't know where it came from, but it's like one of the better brands, but it also came available in a larger cone.
Right.
So
is it marked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're not calling out brands, but it's just like the same size I would buy in the store, except it came in a bigger spool. So
we can call out brands to some
Okay.
degree, and because they have to know what is the better thread. And it's not just because we say it, it's an industry standard that we say it. So anyhow, it's fine.
So basically it's my first line would go and ask my dealer what they would recommend.
Right.
And they're not just trying to sell you expensive thread. It's like they want you to use the best for your machine care and your project care so it lasts longer.
Right. Especially when sergers buy four good blacks, 4 good grays, 4 good whites.
Yeah.
And if you have a project with lime green, then you can ease up on the expensive thread for lime green because you're going to use it once in a blue moon.
Yeah. Or just in that first needle, put lime green regular machine thread because that won't affect the density that much.
Yeah. Sorry, I got to send a text to.
It's okay.
Keep going.
And then we were talking even before when we started where there's all the different weights and a lot of people like, well, what weight thread do I use? Like a heavy or thin, whatever. Right. What's kind of confusing is that when they put the numbers on the thread, because like here, this is like 40 weight and there's thread now that's like 100, 110 weight. So you're thinking, wow, it's a big number. it'll be a bigger thread. It's not. The higher the number, the thinner the thread. And the lower the number, the thicker the thread. So if I had like a 12 weight cotton thread, that's going to be a heavyweight thread as opposed to a 110 thread, which will be a very fine sewing machine thread.
Right. Yes. 100 weight thread. I love for machine applique. I love it for quilting because it just melts. You don't even see it.
Yeah. Or even like if you're doing heirloom and you're doing lace work and you're piecing laces together, that stitch just disappears.
All right. We have a question. Why does the top thread work okay, but the exact same thread in the bobbin doesn't? Well, some of it is tension. And the top thread's coming off horizontal. The bobbin's coming off vertical. The bobbin's coming off horizontal in most cases. But I'm not sure why they're not meeting in the middle, because we always recommend the same weight thread, top and bobbin.
Right. And all I could think of is if the bobbin was set for a certain weight by the manufacturer and you're using something thicker, I could see how that would affect it.
Right.
As opposed to same thing if you use something thinner.
Unless it's like a home deck thread. Like you have some of that 30 weight here that's really heavy. The home deck thread is, some bobbins will not take a 30 weight or a 10 weight, or I'm sorry, like a 12 weight thread.
Yeah.
They just won't do it. Jim's kind of looking in our drawer. We probably don't have any, but sometimes if you're using incredibly heavy thread in the top, most machines cannot handle heavy thread in the bobbin. So that's kind of what you have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's what you have to worry about. So,
or you may have to play with your bobbin tension, which is something we don't recommend doing if you don't know what you're doing.
Right. That's why you buy 2 bobbin cases. That's a different discussion.
Okay.
All right. So what else we got hiding in there? Embroidery thread.
Embroidery thread. We got metallics, and everybody's going to have their different opinion when you work with like a metallic thread, because a lot of the metallics like this one is round, and I guess you can just do it in any position, right? But if I'm working with a flat one that's like sliver, that's actually cut fabric, I like to do it vertically so it just rolls off the machine.
Right. Metallic thread is a whole different discussion, because
you
hear like, oh, I run it through a styrofoam peanut and I put it 42 feet away from my machine. And then I add that oily silicone stuff on it. And I'm like, no. So no drops on your threads.
Yeah.
That just tears up the inside of your machine. And so metallic, it's, for me, it's either Kingstar or Robust Nanton. Those are my 2 favorite metallic threads. And metallic threads are cranky, and they aren't metallic. The Kingstar and the Robust Nanton are polyester, right? So they have polyester core and they're wrapped.
Okay.
And true metallic threads, first of all, you probably couldn't afford them now just because they're really expensive.
Yeah.
Those were the bear. Back in the day, metallic thread was the bane of our existence. But the new polyester core ones from Robust Nanton or Kingstar are lovely to use. So you shouldn't have to jump through hoops to use thread on your machine.
No. And that's why, like, if I use like sliver and I have it vertical, I always make sure I put a felt pad underneath it so that you're not getting the drag of the spool unspooling. So you want to use that little felt pad.
Right. So you really have to be thoughtful about it, right? Like anything else. But all the remedies that are out there in the Facebook groups, if I had a $15,000 machine, and I do, the last thing I would do is put silicone on my thread to go through those tension assemblies and everything.
I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Not cool.
No.
Not cool. All right. So serger threads, we know slubby's bad. Like my hair. I should have looked this morning. Slubby thread is bad, right? And so that's why there's some very good serger threads out there that are worth the money in your basic colors. You don't have to use the same size spool in your serger. Sometimes I use a little one, a big one, a little one, but the weights are different.
Yeah.
Right. So serger thread is 55 weight.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you mix 4 of them, it's not as heavy as if you had 4 30 weights or 4 50 weights. You know, you've got to think about that. If you're sewing something like this beautiful sweater knit.
Where'd you get that?
I think it's going to be in the serger subscription box for the month of March. Right. And so when you're using a fine gauge knit like this, the last thing you want is your thread to control the fabric. So
it'd be really fun if you mix that with another unusual fabric.
I know, to make a stunning accessory.
Yeah.
That everybody can wear, especially when you travel It's going to be a great class.
Yes.
And if you want to, the box with the fabric is sold out. I can't even get any more fabric, but you can always join the class at amysews.com. All the subscriptions, you can get class only. You can join anytime. If you want the fabric and supplies, we got to get you on a wait list. So.
And anytime we do a project with it, we do have the project list of what materials go in the box.
Right, exactly. So Elizabeth says she's getting ready to purchase a new serger, so I need to know this information. Yeah, so wherever and whatever brand you're purchasing, right, irrelevant. Just ask your dealer, do you carry serger threads? Most of them are going to carry Maxi Lock. That's the most
universal
type situation, right? And they're made in South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
American Ephred is in South Carolina and actually was there. So speaking of thread, we talk about fabric and fashion being one of the biggest polluters out there, right? A&E has this amazing magnetized technology where they put this monster spool of thread in these tubs, and somehow it's magnetic, and the dye is magnetically injected into the threads.
Wow.
And there is no waste. The dye doesn't get washed out, which is one of our environmental problems, which is a different discussion, but made in America, just so you know. But anyhow, your dealer will recommend what they recommend for your brand of serger. I'm a firm believer that your sewing machine, no matter what brand it is, should be able to handle any kind of thread as long as it's decent thread.
Yeah.
Right. You buy that collection on Amazon, you were just on your own.
Yeah.
It's,
where's fees? One of those other companies that's mail order.
All right. So here's our girlfriend, Joanne. Lots of confusion on 2 bobbin cases that come with a brother. The bobbin case for sewing is perfect for embroidery too. If you recommend bobbin thread in your manual, brother ambassador. All right. So what Joanne is telling us, she got to just pop on here.
Yeah. Why don't you, Joanne?
Just pop on, Joanne. Anyhow, yes, there's 2 bobbin cases. I don't change my bobbin cases.
Me either.
But I use an 80 weight bobbin thread, and that's another discussion. There's 80 weight bobbin thread, 60 weight bobbin thread, 100 weight bobbin thread, and that comes down to your manufacturer and how many grains of pressure is that bobbin case set for. So that's true, Joanne. In your manual, it'll tell you exactly what the manufacturer recommends. Brother does give you 2, and the higher end gives you 2 bobbin cases, one for embroidery, one for sewing. I recommend a third one that I put a little dot of fingernail polish on.
Decorative?
Decorative, free motion, all of that. So you can, use whatever you want. And, there's cotton thread, which is Arfil, which is probably on the higher end of piecing thread, but it's 50 weight. We have 80 weight thread that people are now piecing with because there's no weight in your seams when you're piecing. So the weight of your thread affects your quilt piecing, right? The weight of your thread can
and actually too, if it's a thicker thread, like you said, the weight of the thread, that makes your seam allowance different. So it actually makes your seam allowance bigger.
Exactly. So if you go into doing this is 100% cotton quilting. Oh, there's that teaser again. When you see this is quilting cotton, how thick that is, right?
Yep.
Compared to
like that one.
Yeah. So even compared to that, that's regular Metler 50 weight, right? When you look at that, and then you look at the serger weight, right? So all that affects your seam allowance.
Yeah.
Garment sewing, piecing, more quilting than anything, right? So, know your thread weight.
Yeah. So if you were trying to do like a scant 1/4 inch, you're going to end up being over 1/4 inch.
All right. So Joanne says you could do a whole show on bobbin cases. I will be emailing you to pick the date.
Thank you for volunteering, Joanne.
We'll have a Makeup Monday with Joanne.
We got witnesses.
Right. And if you don't know who she is, Joanne Banco she's a brother ambassador. So let's go sew with Joanne. Follow her on Facebook, YouTube. Mm-hmm. She's a wealth of knowledge and we love her. So let's see. Caution, upholstery thread is widely available. Okay, let's go with upholstery thread because I agree. And can wreak havoc on your sewing machine, hand quilting thread, because they're wax coated. Mm-hmm. They are coated in something. And there's another popular sewing thread out there that you can get at the big box stores that also is coated. And the reason they coat it is because they aren't using a continuous fiber. They're trying to bind all that stuff together. Mm-hmm. So Home Deck thread has this wax, especially if it's a marine grade, like it doesn't mold or mildew. I've actually seen tension assemblies where the thread grooves are worn in, where the thread settles. Like if you have the 2 pie plate system, you'll see the grooves in the pie plates. Or if you have an internal tension that's a pre-tension that goes across top, you can actually see where those threads are worn through. So anything that's hand quilting thread is a no-no in your machine, because that wax coating builds up and makes a mess. Upholstery thread is fine if you have an industrial machine that is built for that stuff.
Yeah.
So Bonnie goes, we love Joanne. We love Joanne too, Bonnie. We got to get Joanne on a cruise with us and to go from there. So,
yeah.
All right. So we've done our little teaser with our Serger thread for our Serger subscription box at Amy Sews. But let me go show you what's really cool. They finally came in.
Uh-oh.
Finally came in.
Are you ready, Amy?
I'm ready, Freddie. All right, here they are. Glow rulers. What are they? They're new. They're patent pending. And I wish they were mine, but they are not. So the lady who's doing these is a genius, and it's beautiful. And her name is Carolina Moore, and she's in one of my groups. But so yellow, red, and black are the hardest to read with your rulers, right? It's hard to see those lines. Are you ready? Look at that. It lights up so you can see all your lines on all your colors of fabric. So how fabulous is that? So if you are fussy cutting, right now, it's not a square up, right? Because this bottom is a thing, but you're going to square and then turn and then square and then turn. So this is the one that is 6.5, 6 inches. So this is a 6-inch ruler, and it's the full 6 inches here, right? So the light bar is not included in the measurements. It comes with a charger. It's Wi-Fi, but it has a regular USB charger, just like you do with your cell phone. You just plug the plug in, plug this into a USB brick, or I imagine, depending on your sewing machine, you can plug it into the USB and charge it that way. Most people don't know that's actually a charger port also with their sewing machine. So this is the Glow ruler. There's more sizes coming out. They're $58. AmyBachman.com. You can purchase them there, and we will get them shipped out to you. But a simple off, a simple on. How stunning is that? We all need that now that I've got 60-year-old eyes creeping up on 61-year-old eyes. You know, it's getting rough. It's getting rough up there in the eyeballs. So that is the scoop. Woo. We good?
Yeah.
We good. So we know the quality of your thread makes a difference. The weight of your thread makes a difference, right? Because when we do this, we have to finish this edge. But I think I would do a 2-thread finish if you have that option. But Jim and I haven't got that far in the project, but I will tell you, it's fabulous.
It'll be like a raw serged edge.
Right. He's got to hurry up and get mine done. So when I start traveling in May, I have it with me.
No pressure.
No pressure, right? And then the type of thread matters for the appropriate job, right? So thick thread affects your quilt piecing sizes when you press that seam open.
And then that lesser quality too affects how much lint buildup you'll have inside your machine.
Right. Joanne said she'll see us at the IX Center. Yes, the bus trip, the first bus is full. We got some checks in the mail today that
it's kind of pushing you over the edge.
I have no room for these people. So PJ's checking today to see if we can add a second bus. So if we can add a second bus, then
don't wait. Don't register right away.
Right away. But we haven't, it's off the website right now because we're full.
Yeah.
Okay. PJ said, here's the link for the lighted ruler.
Thank you, PJ.
Thank you, PJ. Your friend got our Glow ruler. So she's good. Yeah. So anyhow, so we'll be adding a second bus. So just keep your eyes peeled for that.
And then be sure if there's a certain class you want to take, you want to go to the sewingexpo.com website and register with them. So before they sell out. And while you're there, you can check out my schedule and see what kind of classes I'm offering.
That's right. So Jim's going to be in Cleveland, the IX Center, April, right? April?
Yeah.
April 18th. 15th,
something like that.
something like that. So take a
changes
drive
though.
to Cleveland if you want to hop on our bus, and
And if you
go
can't
from
wait, go
there.
to Atlanta next month and meet me there.
Atlanta,
Then
Lakeland, Florida.
Lakeland, then Cleveland, then New Orleans. You want to go to New Orleans?
No,
Okay.
I am not a fan of New Orleans.
Then we'll go to Cleveland.
The mosquitoes are huge. It's way too moist for me there.
Learned a lot about her.
I know. I'm bougie in my old age, so. All right, let's see. Let's say Patty Joe Davis, awesome. I have to let Lori play with my new serger. Yes. Anyhow, good. All righty, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll have a terrific day because the more you know,
The more you sow.
bye, everybody.
Bye.